Good evening, everyone. The Red Heifer Sacrifice Feast of Tabernacles 2024. Terrifying warning that will shake the world. Before I continue with the video, I just want to ask you to watch this previous video. It's very important. This is a follow-up video on the video that I am doing tonight. The DJT's Abrahamic Accord with many will be strengthened 1 year, that is from October the 7th last year 2023 until 2024 since Israel's war began. And then the other one, 3 signs to be fulfilled before the rapture. Yes, there are other signs as well. I have been hearing about the second coming of Christ and events unfolding, but it's happening now since I became born again. That is, of course, the mark of the beast, artificial intelligence, the microchip, no cash, digital currency, one world government. People, it is here. Woolworths made a blunder the other day when they said there will be no more cash, and the whole of South Africa was up in arms, and they had to change their system again, and then said, no, there will be a toll, but every year for just for cash, and the others will be for the digital currency. People, the one world government is ready to take over. I'm serious. That is here, people. It is here. Those are all the other signs. It is here. So now, the Red Heifer Sacrifice, Feast of Tabernacles, terrifying warning that will shake the world. Why so terrifying? Jesus became the sacrifice, people. And this cow is a foreshadow. It's a foreshadow of Jesus Christ. You'll find that in a minute. I'll share you a video clip, and that will explain to you everything about the red heifer, everything in detail. Please don't switch the video off. It's very important that you watch it and explain it in detail about the temple, about how Israel, the system works, the Levitical laws and everything. No, it's not a long video, it's just a 7-minute clip. So do watch it. Thank you. Yeah. So now, what is the true significance of the fall feast of the 7th month? And I do say that it's in the fall feast. Clearly, it is very significant month with 3 major events in it. Feast of Trumpets, the first day of the month, Yom Kippur on the 10th, and Sukkot on the 15th at the full moon. Plus the number 7 should be catching our attention, people. Now, what clues can we find in the Bible? Now, many people believe it is now. It is now, what is named with the eclipse. Some say it's at Passover. Some say it is at Feast of Pentecost that they're going to sacrifice the red heifer. People, God stipulate his views on it, his requirements on it. It must be 3 years old. It must be 3 years old. And it will only, the cows will only be 3 years in October. Yes, only in October, not at Passover, not at Pentecost, but during the fall feast. So now, what other clues can you find in the Bible? All the men in Israel assembled themselves to King Solomon at the feast of the month of Ethanim. It was first called Ethanim, but it's later changed to the 7th month, which is the 7th month in 1 Kings 8:2. People, Israel is going to have a new king. They're going to have the Messiah, and they're going to crown him king. And he is going to have a gathering with And I probably during that time that they're going to have the covenant with many as well. Yeah, he's going to strengthen it. He's just going to strengthen that covenant that already began. I'm not going to go deep into it, but you watch the previous video. Yeah, Israel is going to have a SHEMINI ATZERET with a new king, also known as Simchat Torah, celebrated on the following day out of the diaspora in which there is great dancing, jubilation and rejoicing in the streets with Torah scrolls. Yeah, they're going to have a jolly good time with their new Messiah, and they're going to crown him king. The Heifers are all under 1 year, by the way, as I said, on September 2000, all under 1 year. That was on September 2022 when they arrived in Israel. And if they remain 100% red to avoid any blemish which would disqualify them, they will each be eligible to be used to create the ashes requirement by the Jewish law to purify those who have been in contact with the dead body. Explained the Temple Institute. That was, of course, that was on the Monday of 2022, of course. This level of purification would be needed in order to allow the Kohanim priests to carry out their work in future temple. Now, that was 9 times a red heifer was sacrificed, and the rabbis believe their Messiah will sacrifice the 10th one. So it will not happen on Passover, it will not happen on Pentecost, but it will happen during Feast of Tabernacles. That's when it's going to happen. So now why must the heifer be 3 years old? I'm going to explain that now. Genesis 15, Jesus said, take me a heifer of 3 years old. Why 3 years old? Okay, well, you also have a she-goat of 3 years, a ram of 3 years, and a turtle dove of a young pigeon. If you remember, the lamb had to be just a year old. That is the requirement of a lamb. And need to be spotless. That is why, it's because the lamb need to be spotless. Jesus was the lamb. Okay. So why 3 years? 3 years old because they are at full growth and at full strength and at the greatest perfection. You see, Jesus required perfection, and the same with the bride of Christ. The bride of Christ need to be spotless. Spotless. That is God's requirement, people. So please sit back and watch this video. And don't switch it off. Listen to the full video. God bless each and every one. Love you. And please do share.
אזרחי ישראל, אנחנו במלחמה. לא במבצע, לא בסבבים, במלחמה.
Have you ever wondered about a warning so powerful it shakes the entire world? We are talking about the final end-time prophecies getting fulfilled in Israel. So let's dive into this video and understand what could be so alarming. Further, another prophecy was fulfilled with the arrival of red heifers. 5 special red heifers recently came to Israel from a ranch in Texas, causing a lot of excitement, especially for those who believe in a prophecy about building the third temple in Jerusalem. These heifers, all less than a year old, are crucial because if they stay entirely red and flawless, their ashes can be used to purify people according to Jewish law. This purification is super important for Kohanim priests to do their duties in a future temple. After arriving, the heifers went to Heifer for a quarantine of at least 7 days, following the rules of the Israel Veterinary Authority. Later, they'll be moved to 2 places in Israel, with one eventually open to the public. The heifers will be taken care of until they're 3 years old, and then, following Jewish law, they can be slaughtered for their ashes. A group called Boneh Israel, made up of Jews and Christians, played a big role in bringing these heifers to Israel. A Texas rancher, Byron Stinson, who works with the organization, raised these cattle. The heifers got a special welcome at Ben Gurion Airport, attended by Temple Institute officials and other important people. In the Bible, having a red heifer is super important. The ashes from a red heifer were needed to purify the Israelites, as mentioned in the book of Numbers, chapter 19. These ashes were used for purification rituals at the temple. Today, the appearance of a red heifer is seen by many as a sign that the construction of the third temple is coming, and some people believe that Christ might return. 9 red heifers were traditionally sacrificed since Moses' time, but none after the second temple was destroyed. Rabbi Maimonides believed that the Messiah would sacrifice the 10th red heifer. In September 2022, 5 flawless red heifers arrived in Israel from Texas, and many see this as fulfilling a prophecy, bringing us closer to a new temple. According to Mosaic law, the rules for a red heifer are strict. It must be without defect or blemish and never have worn a yoke. The red heifer sacrifice had unique features, like using a female animal, being sacrificed away from the Tabernacles entrance, and having a specific color. In Numbers chapter 19, verses 1 and 10, the Bible describes the detailed process of slaughtering a red heifer. The priest Eleazar oversaw the ritual outside the Israelite camp. The ashes from the red heifer were crucial for purifying those who touched a dead body, highlighting the heifer's importance in Israelite religious practices. These biblical commands about the red heifer symbolize Christ's sacrifice for forgiveness. Jesus, like the red heifer, was without blemish. Just as the red heifer was sacrificed outside the camp, Jesus was crucified outside Jerusalem. The red heifer's ashes, cleansing people from the contamination of death, parallel Christ's sacrifice, saving us from the consequences and corruption of sin and death. Still, despite various challenges, the third temple is under construction, and recently a ceremony happened. In an ancient ceremony linked to the third temple, a special group of priests called Kohanim and Levites recreated old rituals. Just on October 12th, they redid the ancient water ceremony for the third temple. Starting at Shahar Hashpot in Jerusalem's Old City, the Kohanim, dressed special, and the Levites with musical instruments led everyone to Shiloh, Siloam Springs, an old place. They used a golden jug to collect water there, ending with the priestly blessing and the Hakhel ceremony. Even though the Torah doesn't say you have to pour water, it's part of Moses' oral tradition and seen as a happy celebration. During the last 6 days of Sukkot, the water pouring happened with wine in the morning service. People worldwide joined in the Sukkot celebrations, making it a global day of worship. These events match prophecies about building the third temple, making everyone excited about ancient predictions coming true. Further, there was the rediscovery of the ancient Pool of Siloam. The Pool of Siloam was an amazing place, 53 feet long, 18 feet wide, and 19 feet deep, made of natural rocks and crafted by skilled hands. Unfortunately, it was destroyed when Babylon attacked Jerusalem and the Second Temple. But the good news, it got rebuilt during Nehemiah's time and got even bigger when Herod the Great was in charge. It became a spot where poor and sick people came for healing and was super important during the Feast of Tabernacles, celebrating when the Israelites got free from Egypt. The Festival of Booths, or Sukkot, is a big deal in Judaism. It remembers the time when they got free from Egypt and survived in the desert. People build temporary sukkahs, like their ancestors' shelters in the wilderness. Sukkot is a way of saying thanks to God and asking for rain. It's a celebration happening in Jewish communities all around the world. During Sukkot, a priest used to get water from the Pool of Siloam in a golden pitcher, singing psalms and being happy, and then poured the water on the altar's west side, showing something special from Isaiah chapter 12, verse 3. On May 14, 1948, David Ben-Gurion, the leader of the Jewish Agency, declared the State of Israel's establishment. In old books like Ezekiel, Jeremiah, and Isaiah the Bible, the return of Israel was predicted. For example, Ezekiel chapter 36, verse 24 says, "I will bring you back to your land. You will be my people, and I will be your God." This was a promise that God made to gather the scattered Israelites and return them to their land. In Jeremiah 32, the Lord said, "I will bring them back from all the places I sent them, They will be my people, and I will be their God. I will plant them in this land with all my heart and soul. These prophecies talk about the Jewish people returning from exile to the land God promised them. This suggests the fulfillment of prophecy. Also, Israel has a dry and often barren climate, but the Israelites have made it flourish. They grow 10 times more trees than in Russia, showing their strength and determination in turning a desert into a place of abundance. In Zechariah chapter 8, verse 12, God promised, "The seed will grow well, the vine will yield its fruit, the ground will produce its crops, and the heavens will drop their dew. I will give all these things as an inheritance to the remnants of these people." It's amazing to see God's words coming true in our lifetime. The political trouble in the Middle East lines up with a prophecy from the prophet Zechariah. In Zechariah 12, it says, "I will make Jerusalem a cup that stirs up trouble for all the nearby nations. Judah and Jerusalem will be under attack. When all the world's nations gather against her, I will make Jerusalem a solid rock that can't be moved. Anyone who tries to move it will hurt themselves." Israel has some of the best military technology globally, and Jerusalem, just as predicted, remains a center of conflict. Jerusalem's role in biblical prophecy. Jerusalem plays a vital role in many prophecies getting fulfilled in Israel. Given its status as a center of conflict, Israel has invested in advanced military technology. The time for Jerusalem's fulfillment is drawing near.